Let's talk a little bit about figurative language and the use of it in text. So we're going to talk about things that you probably have heard before, things like simile, metaphor, imagery, alliteration, personification, onomatopoeia, hyperbole, idiom. I think I might have cut that one. Symbol and motif is one that I added. So let's see how these go. All right, so simile you've probably heard before, a comparison of two things that are essentially different using the word like or as. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose. And we've seen this before. We've talked about using these in our own writing. Metaphor, same. You're comparing two things, except we do not use like or as. So typically it's something like time is a dressmaker specializing in alterations. Life is a box of chocolates, right? All of those type of things. Imagery is the use of language to create mental images, and those can have 5 different kind of effects on us, right? We have the sensories: touch, taste, sight, smell, and sound. And so we imagine these. So such sweet sorrow, which comes from Romeo and Juliet, kind of ignites your taste, right? Alliteration is the repetition of sounds at the beginning of 2 or more adjacent words or stressed syllables. So furor followed free. And we see alliteration in prose actually a lot more than you would think. But all these are going to be important not only for the prose that we are reading now, but also in poetry. The next is personification, and this is one that you see all the time, especially as a child, as you read books or watch cartoons. It's non-human things or abstractions represented as having human qualities. So a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, right? The tree doesn't have hair, but we see her like a tree, like a person. Onomatopoeia is the use of words that sound what they mean. So hear the sleighs with the bells, silver bells, how they tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. So tinkle, tinkle sounds actually like tinkle, tinkle, or slush sounds like actually the slush. Pitter, patter sounds like rain. All of those type of, again, children's stories is a lot of onomatopoeia. The next is hyperbole, which is an intentional exaggeration, a figure of speech. So like all the perfumes in Arabia could not sweeten this little hand. An idiom is an expression that has a different meaning from the literal meaning. We use these all the time. And if you speak another language, your culture may have very specific idioms. So we say things like feeling under the weather, or it's raining cats and dogs. And they are phrases that don't make sense when you try to translate them to another language, but they make sense to a particular language group. Then we have an allusion. An allusion is a reference within a literary work to another literary work, art, or real event. It's brief, it's implied. You won't really catch it unless you kind of know the reference. It's kind of like an inside joke, but we call it an allusion when it's a reference to another kind of literature, art, or real event. Not like we're just thinking about like the recent marriage of, whatever celebrity pop star got married this weekend. A motif and symbol are similar, but they are different. So a motif can be defined as any reoccurring image, object, idea, or element within a particular work that has particular meaning. So if you think of Mulan and the doll that's there, it like represents innocence, and we see the doll in a couple different scenes. In Aladdin, we see birds like come back, and it's this idea of like freedom, of Jasmine like getting away. So it is a motif, and symbol are confusing sometimes, but a motif really has to occur more than once. It has to be something that happens throughout the text. Whereas a symbol is typically just something that we see once. A reoccurring symbol we typically call kind of a motif. So we have things like love, peace, right? Death, all of these things that we can see and we recognize as an object, a physical thing that represents an abstract idea. So all of these should be helpful for you as we're discussing figurative language in the text. It is important for us to be able to identify these as we read text, because they're going to give us a deeper knowledge and a deeper meaning of text when we're looking at that analysis, looking at author's craft, and looking to see what kind of the meaning of the text is and what the bigger idea is.